Howdy folks, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, for today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different than we usually do. We're not going to really be doing any glitches or anything this time. We're going to be taking a look at a little bit of a small mystery behind Halo 3's story. And that is what happens to Johnson's team on a mission to Covenant. So, for those of you who don't remember, at the very beginning of the mission, there are three... you basically have three teams, each one going to a different tower to deactivate the shield here. The first team is Master Chief, and sometimes with the Arbiter if you're playing on co-op. But the second tower is the Elites, or sometimes with the Arbiter. And Johnson and his squad handles the third tower. But unfortunately, even though Chief and Arbiter and Elites succeed, Johnson's tower does not get deactivated. And Miranda Keyes tells you to go back outside and to find out what happens to Johnson. So at this point, we have to proceed outside and go see what happens at the third tower. Now, as you all know, and this is pretty much common knowledge by now, and you even see this in a later cutscene, but Johnson actually gets captured by the brutes, and he is taken to the Prophet of Truth. And during that cutscene, which we're going to take a quick look at now, the brute chieftain that's holding the Prophet of Truth is basically beating up Johnson, and then later Truth has Johnson activate the Halo rings, at which point Miranda Keyes tries to save him, and she fails. And later we had to go rescue him ourselves. So, with that in mind, what happened to the rest of Johnson's team? We don't see their team anywhere. We don't actually even know what happened to the rest of his team at all. So, we need to figure out what happened. Well, to do that, we're going to have to do a little bit of detective work. And we're going to come over here to the third tower and basically follow the path where Johnson's team took. And this is actually something that I'd never noticed until quite recently. It's something that's like kind of out of the way, and most people never even go to that spot. But with our little detective work, it would seem like Johnson's team landed over here on this ledge here. They didn't land directly at the tower. Or they might have, but I'll explain like why in a bit. So coming here, we're going to land here, assuming that this where this Phantom's landing, this is also where Johnson landed. And as you can see, all the Elites in a bit will follow the same path. They all head up the hill here. Instead of going left directly to the tower, they actually take the long way. And right here, you can already see a path of Marine bodies. There's one body right here already. He's pretty dead, you know, he's even stuck in the ground as well. That's how pulverized he was, I guess, you could say. But that's one Marine body there. So if we follow the trail, keep moving up here, all the way up here to the back of the map, in the back corner, you'll see here that there's even more Marine bodies. Actually, there's a lot of bodies here, and I've actually never noticed this for like the longest time, because I've never had any reason to come back here. I usually always went straight for the tower, straight for the middle. Back here was just, you know, never considered it. But yeah, back here, there's several Marine bodies here. Actually, there's a shotgun here, so if you guys ever need a shotgun as part of the mission, then you know where to find one now. But there's 3 bodies here, and there's one earlier, so that's 4 dead Marines already. And a lot of them are collected here in this area. There's also a fuel rod cannon back here if you need one. Just another fun tip. But basically, my theory at this point, with our little detective work, is that Johnson's team got up here and then they faced some attack from the brutes, and some of them got killed there, but ultimately Johnson managed, and the rest of his team managed to take out the brutes. So at this point, they decide to move forward. They move up to the tower and towards the inside of it. So once they come in here, as you heard on the radio, Johnson did say that they were facing heavy resistance and taking heavy fire. And I believe that's around this point. But let me clear the enemies here first, because there's a lot of enemies here, which, you know, even more than the other towers. So Johnson, it was pretty much an ambush for Johnson. It was, I believe some people said it was like a trap for the Prophet of Truth to capture him. I'm not sure if it was actually a trap. I think Johnson just picked the wrong tower to go to. But anyways, as you can see at the front door here, there's also a bunch of other Marines here. I believe there's 3 more dead Marines here. So quite a lot of Marines died at this point. But I don't think this is where they died initially. So as you can see, there's a couple here, and more shotguns and weapons. So Johnson's team, I believe, made it into the elevator room at least. So once they got inside, and here's another Marine body, so that's 3 bodies here confirmed. So we're at 8 dead bodies so far. And then Johnson will make 9, I guess. But he's not actually, he didn't die, but you know, his squad is 9 Marines so far, including him. But once he gets inside, as you can see, we searched around. There's no other Marine bodies inside. So I believe Johnson made it through the front door at least. And then that's when everything attacked them. All the brutes and everything, they're all waiting inside. All the hunters, drones, brutes, grunts, jackals, they all attack. And that's when, on the radio, he says they're taking heavy fire, and he says everybody fall back. So they fall back here, and I think this is where the rest of his squad gets killed. And at which point, from behind him, that's where the rest of the brutes come in. Because as you saw when we fly towards this tower, there's a lot of resistance outside too. There's brutes, brute chieftains, wraiths, and everything. It's a huge mess here. So I believe they dropped in from behind Johnson, and his team was pinned down. They were all killed, and Johnson himself was captured. And that is what happens to a squad. You could trace pretty much all the bodies back to all these areas. Now, an alternative theory is that his whole squad made it in, and then when same thing, they faced heavy resistance, and they fall back. And as they were falling back, 3 of them got killed at the door, and then the rest got killed while falling back to where their Pelican might have been. And then Johnson's the only one left and got captured. But I don't think they got killed falling back. I think they got killed on the way in. Because Johnson on radio, you know, when he said everybody fall back, that's when he cut out and then stopped responding at that point. Which means they were all taken out pretty quickly, and he was captured pretty quickly as well. So I believe that his whole squad was killed at the door. At least the rest of his squad was killed at the door. And that's when he was captured. And then off screen, of course, taken to the Prophet of Truth. So that is what our little detective work has come up with as far as what happened to Johnson's team, because we never actually see what happens. We can only guess what happens based on the bodies lying around, the evidence lying around. It's kind of like a mini side story, I guess, that you have to figure out yourself. It's not explicitly shown to you. But yeah, so there you guys have it. That's what we believe happened to Johnson's team. A few people have been asking me that for a little bit, and you know, there's no way to actually mod to see it because it doesn't actually happen in gameplay anywhere at all or during cutscenes. But Bungie did leave behind a lot of bodies of evidence, literally, for us to figure out and kind of deduce what happened to Johnson's team before Johnson got captured. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy this and find this theory to be interesting, make sure to leave a like. And I'd like to hear your thoughts, actually, on what you think happened to Johnson's team exactly. So, you know, make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments, and we'll definitely be around to take a look at it and discuss it with you guys. But other than that, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.